So it uploaded it automatically.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to go in
I'll
and
delete that one.
delete that, because now that one has 35 views,
Oh.
and the top comment is, Holly, are you okay? Hi,
Okay.
Holly. Oopsie.
Oh wow, that happened fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got a few folks back. Okay, there we go. All right. Just gonna wait a couple of more minutes before we officially get started. But yeah, I did a practice round because I'm really new at this, so was the weird upload. And I learned that it does automatically upload, so bear with me. What are you doing? Hi, darling. Hi. 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 All right. Come here. What are you doing? What? Oh, hello from Finland. Awesome. All right, we'll give it one more minute. What are you doing, babes? Tulip, come here. Hi, Canada. Awesome. All right, it's 3 o'clock. So, well, what are you doing? Can you say hello? This is Petunia. I'm sure most of you that are joining in have watched my videos before, and anyone who's new, welcome. So I'm sitting in here with Petunia and Tulip. Tulip is building oh, Japan, that's awesome, hi. Tulip's building an enormous lodge all over again. So, let me walk you over there so you can see. I have my assistant Colton here too. There's Tulip, come on. So, Tulip, can you say hi? Say hi to everyone. They love you so much. They love you so much. Tulip and Petunia are.
Donation.
Oh, thank you. Oh gosh, thank you so much. Appreciate that donation. I will. It's possible that Tulip may knock over the phone at some point, but let me see if I can get it back here. She can at least be in view a little bit. There we go. And I also brought some treats, so we will do some treats. All right, let me get myself situated here. And there we go. Sweet potato. I also have some watermelon treats that we'll feed them in a little bit. Oh, I know. Talking about the tantrums, Tulip can still throw some pretty big tantrums. And I did bring a couple of bananas out too, so we have some bananas and some watermelon that we'll give in a minute. But yeah, I mean, we are. It's going so well. I really did not expect. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, my son Colton is an amazing photographer, and I do call him my social media manager, so y'all can all give him uh, props for doing such a great job with mom, who's not always so good at this stuff. But Yeah, Petunia and Tulip are spending most of the days together now. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Um, and but still, Petunia's in overnight. It's not quite safe enough for her to be out overnight yet, but we're getting there. So I think when she's just a little bit bigger, we'll. Oh, when is Petunia's birthday? So Petunia is. We are estimating April 1st, 2024, to be her official birthday. When she came to us, it looks like she was only a few days old. So we're just estimating April 1st. Yes. So what just we just gave Petunia, my goodness, Tulip. Here we go. We just gave here Colton Hender. Let's hand her another treat. She's always very vocal. So, oh, good. We got another April 1st birthday. That's awesome. Petunia loves being in the water. So that's where Petunia is right now. Petunia is hanging out in the water and is just loving having this big pool to swim around in. And Tulip is still here. Let me see. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come see me. Come see me. Now, let everyone see your beautiful. There you are. Here we are. Okay. It is. I am just very, very happy on how well Tulip has done with Petunia. It does seem very motherly. I've been very just. It's just been really cool to watch it over the past few days as she continues to get more comfortable. And now she really looks forward to when I bring Petunia back out. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I it's very, very cool. I really am very happy with this spoiled little princess, right? Mwah! Love you. This spoiled little princess, how well she's done with a baby. Is Petunia old enough to dive under the water yet? Got a little watermelon treat there. Yes, Petunia is diving. She's diving all the way down to the bottom of this pool now. Nobody can tell Petunia what he or she can or cannot do. So that's what it seems like every time I'm like, no, she's too young. She does it. So she's diving great. And Colton, there was a question.
Is Tulip being so vocal
Oh.
usual?
So Tulip is very vocal. Tulip is the most vocal beaver that I've ever had. And I do think it's because we have spent so much time together, and I sort of think of it as a way that Tulip really needs to communicate clearly with me or to us as humans. And and I think she's so vocal just because of that. Now the vocal initially with Petunia was like a little hissy, a little like, what is going on? What is this? And the vocal now is completely switched to greeting calls and sort of a pleasant, happy beaver sound. So, okay, here's a good question. Rescuing animals, how did I go from dogs, cats, and parrots to beavers? So that is a good question, and that'll take a minute. I have a biology degree, and it was just a generic biology degree, but I was planning on going to vet school, and that was my plan. And then I got sidetracked a little bit because I had an opportunity to work at actually Walt Disney World, where I went to Disney and worked in their Epcot, their aquarium there at Epcot. And I fell in love with marine biology. I'm from landlocked area of Mississippi. I grew up on a farm with cows and horses. And so this opportunity at Disney to work with marine life was just remarkable. And so I fell in love with all things marine. I had a chance to spend some time with their dolphins there. I also helped with the sharks. I helped with, the sea turtles. I just fell in love with everything about it. And I actually really fell in love with Disney as a company at that time. And that's when I met my husband. We both worked at Disney and we met, and then we just sort of went from there. I ended up going into graduate school for physiology, and my dissertation is on bottlenose dolphins. So I spent a lot of time working with lots of different types of animals, but my favorite thing to do was rehabbing. So rehabbing, injured dolphins, rehabbing baby walruses, manatees, sea turtles. Um, really was something that I was very passionate about. And then most recently, I've been working in the coastal Mississippi area as a marine biologist, where I'm studying dolphins out in the Gulf. And it was during COVID, actually, that I ended up with a baby raccoon, helping out a rehabber who needed some extra hands. And I raised this baby raccoon, and we actually named her Princess. I have a very old video on my YouTube of that. And she was, I just fell in love with raccoons, and I was like, how have I been missing this really cool experience? We have always, let me back up. My whole family and I have always done dog and cat and parrot rescue. That's because our whole family is just very much animal oriented. But raccoons and wildlife, that was the first direct connection. And then when we moved to the coast, that's when I met Paula Woodside of Woodside Wildlife Rescue. And if you haven't already followed her, please do. Paula's amazing. She's literally my hero. And I started helping Paula raise baby raccoons. And it was in 2022 that she said, Holly, I really could use your help with beavers, because I have beavers right now and I need to focus on the raccoons and the otters. And I looked at my husband and my family. I was like, what do you think? You want to try it? And it was a resounding yes. Actually, no, we all were like, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work, but let's try it. And so from the minute I held the first baby beaver, I was hooked for life. I mean, honestly, it reminds me of like a little mini, oh, thank you. It reminds me of a little marine mammal. That's what beavers remind me at. Okay, I'm seeing some more good questions. All right, thanks. So beaver, we were hooked. And then not only did we get hooked, we've decided that this is something that we need to take to the next level, which is why we moved out to the country, and now we have this beaver sanctuary, dream come true. And as a researcher, and then I'll move on from this one, as a researcher, there's so little really in the grand scheme of things known about beavers. I think that it's exciting. The behavior is so unknown, the vocals, people sort of, they call them, maybe instinctual animals that aren't using a lot of brain power, but I'm finding them to be really intelligent, and that excites me. So anyway, let me find that other question a while up. Mike has it there. The immune system, yes. Okay, so Tulip, definitely, come here, baby. Come here. Oh, I got you. Oh my goodness. All right, you're good. Okay, so Tulip, definitely, okay. All right, come here. Oh my goodness. So Tulip obviously has some immune compromised issues. She came to me with pneumonia. She also had bumblefoot. She was stunted. She couldn't dive. There were so many problems with her, and I do think she probably, unfortunately, was born with an immune issue. Somehow she made it through all of that, and then, of course, as many of you know, she contracted that horrible skin infection. And right here, you can still see a little bit of thin fur, and that may or may not ever fully grow back. We're just watching. No one expected her to survive. I am very paranoid about her still being susceptible to illness, potentially bacteria in the soil. So we continue to keep her elevated off the ground. I do introduce her to certain opportunities during walks, but watch her really close. And we're all hopeful that she has completely beat this and that she's strong and gonna be just fine. But we still are very cautious. All right, where is Stormy? Stormy is right behind me. Stormy has her own private enclosure right now because, as I had mentioned, thanks to a very intuitive and a great student, a master's student that we have at my work, wanted to see a sample, a fecal sample, because I've been collecting fecal samples for other studies for beavers. And that's when we found this really nasty protozoan parasite that we had missed on the initial veterinary intake, because it wasn't a traditional parasite that we find in other species. In fact, this parasite is actually really weird. So we I've had to really officially quarantine Stormy, so she is kept separate until I know she is completely free and clear of this parasite. She's going to stay separate. The plan is, though, is she's going to move right next door to Tulip at first, and then we'll also introduce Petunia. And, you know, my goal is to have all three of them together. Are Tulip's vocals unique? Are they normal, or does she have a problem? Tulip's vocals are very unique, but they are normal for beavers. As far as, you know, if you've ever watched some of the wild beaver footage available online, you can sometimes hear vocalizations, and Tulip makes all of those vocalizations. There's no, you know, nothing odd about that. Will all three be released? Yes, that is the plan. And the plan is, because we now have our own land, we have 34 acres with a huge pond and a wetland. Our goal is to release all the beavers right here. And it's going to be interesting to see how it goes whenever we get to that point. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Is there a name for the little honk? Okay. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second. So yes, the plan is to release them all right here. We want to keep an eye on them. We're actually going to do studies on that. And is there a name? You know, I've looked at a couple of papers that have been written about beavers, and they do sort of have some names that scientists have used, but there's no official definitive name for each of the vocals. Maybe we need to do that. Are they crepuscular like the wild? Great question, big word. Yes. So in general, they're most active in the evenings as we are going into dark. They wake up and become very active, and Petunia does that naturally, and Tulip does as well. But these guys also are out during the day quite a bit too. All right, here we go. Ready? Ready? Wait, come here. Come here. Oh, this is what we gotta do. We gotta hold you. Ready? Here we go. Tulips. Tulips. That's all. That's literally all. We ran out of minutes. How does Colton feel about all of this? Colton is a trooper. Colton is natural with animals. He's got a scientific mindset. He literally went into the lab with me the other day and helped to examine, you know, poop samples. He's an amazing kid, and I'm very proud of him. And have they ever bitten you? I have been bitten, not by Tulip or Petunia, but Tater and Turnip were, they just, when we had Tater and Turnip, many of you remember, we actually moved them here to this property, and they released themselves one day. I'd come out in the morning, and they had, the door was open, and they were gone. They were both fairly traumatized as when I got them, when they were young babies, and they actually had somehow learned to bite. And so the very first thing Tater did was give me a big old bite in my arm, or in my hand, and cut it pretty good. And they were always sort of independent, and they grew up really fast, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm very happy that, you know, I'm hoping that they're out there living their best life. I haven't seen them. We have been looking. We always will hold out some hope that we will see them. Do they build scent mounds? Yes, they do build scent mounds. Tulip, the scent mound for Tulip is, oh, I gotcha. Sort of at the top of her little ramp that she goes up into her water with, that's where she does her scent mound, for whatever reason that is. But not like the traditional, like the wild beaver stuff. And then what was that other question?
Where's Luna?
Oh, where's Luna? Let me trade for a watermelon. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Watermelon doesn't last long, and we do have some thunder. Luna's right here. Luna's usually not very far when we're hanging out here, so she is staying nice and cool and doing her job.
When and how do you name them?
When and how do we name them? So the first three were Huck, Finn, and Sawyer, and they came to me already with those names, and I just thought that was adorable, so I just kept it. I thought Huck, Finn, and Sawyer were very appropriate. Thank you. Give Tulip a treat. Here we go. Tulip, here's your watermelon, babe.
How does the oil feel?
So anyway, so then tulip, I don't know, I just felt like tulip was a good name, and now I'm sort of sticking with some flowers. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. And they feel so soft. They are the softest creatures. You know, I say there's a reason why. Um, Here, let me have another watermelon for poor little Petunia. There's a reason why they were hunted almost to extinction. Their fur is amazing. It's so thick and so soft. So this is good.
Do they do breath exchanges for ID and health reasons?
Breath exchanges. That study has never been done, but we do see them greet each other nose to nose. And that's clearly an exchange of breath. And that is something that they must do for understanding each other. And they do also will come up into our nose and take a breath. So I think that's part of the smell process. But it's a good study. We need to do that. Anybody out there want to be a graduate student studying beavers?
Can you provide info about the beaver population in Mississippi?
The beaver population in Mississippi, according to our state officials, the numbers are really good. In fact, if anything, they consider them to be overpopulated. However, there isn't really any study that has been done in Mississippi aside from the vast number of trapping and killing of beavers, and they don't really keep track of that either. So I think Mississippi is a challenge for beavers, and it's somehow mainly because of how we want to manage the land here. A lot of people want to manage it for hunting, for agriculture. We don't have a lot of houses, but we do have a lot of recreational use of land. And so beavers will flood a forest that someone has developed so that they can hunt deer and turkey, and they don't like that. It's going to be baby steps here, but we feel like, our property here is going to be an example, a demonstration of how you can have forest and beavers at the same time. And deer. We have all the deer here.
Do they respond to a voice like a dog? Positive voice is this, soothing voice is that?
Oh yeah, so the question was, do they respond to voices like a dog, like soothing? They do. They seem to. And when you listen to how they communicate with each other, they, this is a fuss. Like little Petunia is like, I want down, or give me some more food or something. They actually have their own version of little stern fussiness. So it's very, humans, they seem to respond to us as well. I mean, it's rare that we have to fuss at them. Mostly it's just, fun and positive, but they do seem to respond well.
Will you chip them when they're released?
I am planning on tagging them. They make little ear tags, so their ears are very similar to ours, where it's soft, and we can actually put a little ear tag with the color so that I can keep track. And down the road, maybe we will do some more radio transmitter potentially, just to watch movement. But as far as chipping, no, we're not going to do internal chipping. Lots of love from your biggest fans. Thank you. Yes, I need to buy more bananas. Somehow we ended up today.
What has surprised you most about all of this?
What has surprised me most is how social and intelligent beavers are. I really had no idea. I really never even thought about a beaver before having this experience, and I've just been overwhelmed as a scientist and as an animal lover. It's just been something that has surprised me so much, and I think I always say, if we studied some animals like we study dolphins, where we're just, there's so many people that are interested in, with good reason, they're cool animals. Well, we've given them so much attention that if we even were a quarter of what we did with beavers, I think people would be really surprised at how cool they are.
How old is Stormy?
We estimate the Stormy is a subadult female, meaning probably maybe 2 to 3 years old, because she does look like a female according to the x-rays. She's, fairly large when she gains weight, and she's not pregnant or lactating. And a beaver female of reproductive age would not ever just sort of take a break and not be pregnant or lactating. So we're estimating that she's a little bit too young for that.
Talk about the other animals we have, and are they all rescues?
Yes. Okay. So some of you know that we have the most recent rescue is Keanu. Keanu is a Malinois mix. He came from the pound. He was a very special needs kind of dog. He had some, he wasn't going to necessarily do well the shelter. But we really were looking for a driven dog that would want to be a protector for our property. So we brought him home from the pound, and he's adapting, doing great. Neptune is a little Manx kitten that we brought home. Was found on the streets, covered in ticks, fleas, parasites. Nursed it back to health, and now he is Phoebe, my African Grey's best friend. If you haven't seen those videos, you should check them out. I don't recommend someone letting a parrot and a cat be best friends, but it is working really well for Phoebe, and it's working really well for Neptune. So Neptune and Phoebe the African Grey. We have a rose-breasted cockatoo, and then we have two rescued macaws, a scarlet and a green wing. And their stories are tragic, very sad. The scarlet is 50 years old, the green wing is 30. They have just lived a rough life, so we're just letting them live out their days here and do what they need to do. And then Luna was a rescue as well. Luna running around, and Evie, the little fluff ball, she's a rescue. We have a rescued green cheek conure and a snake and 2 turtles. I haven't even introduced all of that to you. At some point I will.
Are there beavers in Massachusetts?
Yeah, there are beavers in Massachusetts. In fact, I would say that was, there's some very critical, important habitat up there, and beavers do the very traditional dam building and lodge building up there.
How do they smell? What does their tail feel like?
I have been getting a lot of the how do they smell thing. So first, let me say, I lost my smell in COVID in 2021 and haven't really had it back. So I can't really say. I can smell them a little bit. Some people say that they can, when they are scenting, is one of the worst smells that they've ever smelled in their life. I'm not quite at that level, but I also tolerate skunk smell, so I'm not normal, I'm sure. We do try to keep the house clean. Anyway, so in general, though, they're very clean animals. They don't smell. They don't have a smell unless they're scent marking. And then keep in mind, our world has made perfumes and flavorings out of their castor glands and their oils, so it's potent. And then their fur is just the softest fur that you've ever felt. I see a real quick question. Do you need to worry about poisonous snakes like cottonmouths and beavers? So yes, Mississippi is full of wonderful venomous snakes. We have copperheads and we have water moccasins, are known as cottonmouths. We have rattlesnakes, coral snakes, lots of fun things like that. But the thing with snakes is, unless you purposefully try to mess with them, you step directly on one, they really don't want to mess with you. And I have enjoyed a life full of just walking in the woods without any issues with venomous snakes. So if the beavers, I don't see any scenario where that would be a concern, just because the snake's going to leave. So luckily we don't have to worry about it.
Has all of this influenced your day job as a
Has
professor?
influenced my day job. I am so blessed and so fortunate that I'm working for Mississippi State University, and I am a research professor of Coastal One Health is my official title. And that's a relatively new role for me, and it is the most perfect role for me because I get to look at lots of different things, looking at the connection of human health to wildlife health to environmental health. And Mississippi State I was like, I have beavers. I want to study beavers. And they were like, come on, you're fine. So Mississippi State is letting me utilize beavers, but I still am going out in the Gulf all the time. I'm just building up some really cool new programs.
How long do beavers live?
Beavers are the longest lived rodent outside of naked mole rats. Naked mole rats live a long time. They're very strange little rodents. Aside from that, beavers are the second longest lived rodent at 25 years minimal. They live a long time.
Do we expect to see babies coming in again anytime soon?
So in Mississippi, babies are born in March and April, and so we will not get any more babies this year.
Okay. Do you do any educational outreach about beavers?
I do. I find myself giving lots and lots of different talks to various organizations about beavers, and it's growing. There's a lot of interest for it, and I welcome that opportunity, and I'm incorporating it with my university into the One Health aspect. Beavers are creating healthy habitat, and we're going to benefit if we could just sort of let them do their job.
With Stormy being wild and these guys being more captive raised, is there a challenge putting them together?
There's a challenge putting any beavers together. Beavers just in general don't like strangers, and so I was really, pleasantly surprised that Tulip and Petunia are getting along so well. I do think it has something to do with me being mom beaver and me saying, "Hey, this is our new baby, Tulip. It's time to just, to deal." Stormy's going to be a little tricky, but Stormy is a passive. Right now, Stormy is a very passive beaver. And I have let Tulip and Stormy have nose to nose opportunities. And, I am not concerned right now that Stormy's going to be super aggressive. But when the time comes, we'll be watching very closely. I do plan on putting them all together.
People are asking for the address so they can mail a donation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will put I will put address in. Yes. And speaking of, we are planning to get our nonprofit up and running. Apologies it's taken so long. My wildlife permit is supposedly any day now. And I want to have that wildlife permit in hand before I launch our own nonprofit. But right now I am working through Woodside Wildlife Rescue. So if anyone wants to donate to beavers, you can go to Woodside's website and they have address. Just say you want that donation to go to beavers, and Paula and I are just, we work together so closely. That's a wonderful way to do it. That is also through a nonprofit.
New people are asking if these are pets.
Oh, pets. No, goodness no. I do not recommend beavers. Beavers would not make good pets. They are highly destructive. They are actually really smelly. And they need water. They're basically little marine mammals, aquatic mammals. They're not marine. And they require a lot of work, and it takes our whole family working 24/7 to take care of these things. They would definitely not be good pets, which is why we have them living outside, and then eventually we'll release them.
Clarify your comment that the increased building activity of Tulip may have a hormonal component.
Oh yeah, so Tulip has just taken off building this massive lodge inside. In fact, I'll walk over there so you can see it. And this is what she's doing. She's actually been taking all the branches out of the pool and sticking them here. And this is Tulip has always done a little bit of this, but this is next level. And I do think it's some hormonal influence. I think the sight of the baby is somehow, nest building stimulus. We don't know, but again, I'm learning so much about beavers, but this has been really fun to see Tulip really engage.
Does their communal nature make them want to stay together when you release them, or will they separate?
So the plan is to always release beavers, at least in pairs that are bonded together. And so the plan is that they will stay together. Now, let's say there are two females. Two females might end up hanging out for a long time. They may even have mates and still stay together. Males are known to disperse. And so if we have a male that we release, most likely down the road they will disperse to go find a mate. All right.
Is there any room in the doghouse for Tulip to even get in there?
She has been piling it up and over, and then she sort of barrels her way in, and she's pretty funny. She's pretty funny.
Do you have any theory as to why Tulip likes to wear the rings?
Tulip wears rings. And those of you who have been with me a long time, you know that Tulip wore little onesies when she had a back injury, when she had that back infection, and that helped keep it protected. And whenever I would hold the little shirt up, she crawled into it. She loved wearing it. I don't know. And there is some thought that maybe it is a comfortable thing, that a little bit of a security thing. She does like putting them on. She also seems to use them as a back scratcher. So her back is still sensitive. It's not painful, but it's sensitive. So I think the rings help her get some relief.
What part of their diet provides the iron for the teeth?
The iron is a mechanism on a chemical level in their body. In fact, humans have been studying exactly how that enamel takes in iron to see if we could learn something about our own teeth. So it's happening at a very chemical level in the body. I don't know if they have any extra iron, that they're getting it just naturally in their foods, but their body just sort of shifts it and sends it to their enamel, and that's some biochemistry next level. But it's very interesting, and we are learning from beavers about our own teeth.
When will Petunia's gender be obvious?
Finding out gender of a beaver is very difficult because everything is tucked inside. They have a cloaca or a pseudo-cloaca, depending on who you talk to. Everything is internal. And so telling a male from female, especially young animals, is very confusing. About 6 months, we can do an x-ray.
Do their teeth grow constantly?
Teeth grow constantly. There is one misconception that they must chew on wood to keep their teeth down. However, it has actually been shown that they chisel their teeth on their own. So you'll hear them grinding their teeth, and that is they're actually chiseling them. And so even if they never chewed on a piece of wood, which we would never do because that is something they need to eat and to use, they keep it trimmed. But it does continually grow. And beavers that aren't able to get that right grinding mechanism, if an injury happened, they can overgrow a tooth, and that's a problem.
How often do you walk them?
We try to walk them routinely around the property just to give some exercise. Right now, I'm not giving Petunia that much access to the ground. I'm just a little paranoid, and she's still really small. So, but Tulip, every couple of days, we take her for walks.
You mentioned that they are rear gut fermenting. Please explain that.
Hind gut fermenters is what a beaver is. And what that means is they eat all of this heavy duty vegetation and woody, vegetation, and they can't digest that. Nothing can really digest that. So they rely on these microbes in their intestine, in their cecum, their hind gut, so to speak. It sits in there, and these microbes help them digest it. And without these microbes, they could not get the nutrients that they need. So that means that you just got to spend time in there for the microorganisms.
Are their claws sharp?
Their claws are incredibly sharp. They can dig burrows into pond levees and literal huge burrows. They dig and they use their claws, so they're very sharp. We keep the babies trimmed sometimes if it gets too sharp, but they mostly keep them worn down on their own.
Do you have any update on any animals that have lived here previously that have since been released?
So the only ones that have released here were Tater and Turnip, and those little guys have chosen not to show back up and show any gratitude. I'm just kidding. We have amazing habitat here, and so I fully believe that they found the creek or they made their way through the swamp and went and looked for habitat. We do know that neighbors have beavers in their ponds. We do have some neighbors, they're a bit of a distance away. And so all of them now are aware of that we are, going to be releasing beavers, or if they ever have a beaver, that they don't recognize, if that's even possible, they're keeping us posted, I should say. So we do get accounts that there are other beavers around.
How do they handle being around the dogs?
So I recently had a post about this. In general, you don't want wildlife around domesticated dogs. They can bond with them. They can, potentially catch diseases. Beavers are a little different. We're fortunate that beavers are not showing the tendency to bond with a dog. And so Tulip, Petunia, they have a natural, they want to avoid the bigger dogs. And so it's something that doesn't stress them out, but it's not something that we encourage them to do, to hang out in free contact. The little dog that's in the house that likes to mother them, they do like her. In general, dogs are just sort of a thing that's there. It's not, positive or negative.
Are there any known foods or plants that are toxic?
Beavers are able to digest a ridiculously large amount of types of plants, and I have looked to see if there's something that has been known to poison a beaver. I can't find it. Doesn't mean that doesn't exist. I am very cautious. I make sure that they eat things that, we understand and know. But I think beavers can tolerate a wide range of foods.
Is it hard to say goodbye when they leave?
Yes, I am. You can ask my husband and my family. I'm a bit of a wreck when that time comes, but I know it's the right thing. And what makes me so happy about here is that we do get to do it in stages, so I can also get, I can watch them and make sure they're going to be okay without just, completely cut cold turkey.
Under what legal status do we have beavers?
Under what legal status? As far as, so they're not endangered anymore. That, you know, there was a time where we had hunted them to pretty much extinction, and right now people are actively reintroducing them. The European beavers being introduced in Europe, and then here in North America, the West. The West had completely gotten rid of all their beavers.
They meant, how are we permitted to do it?
Oh, how are we permitted to do it? We work under wildlife rehab permit. And so right now I'm under Woodside Wildlife Rescue's permit. And that's eventually, as soon, any day, I will have my own wildlife rehab permit.
Why would you not use an internal chip? For identifying.
Oh, identifying.
A chip.
So, an internal chip. So a transmitter that we put, you know, somewhere on their body that could transmit whenever they come to the surface so that we could see their movement, we could do something like that. If we put something inside of them, we could, if they were unfortunately found deceased, then we could check them for a chip. That's the only time we would have access to reading that chip. So internal chips aren't as a good idea as a visual external or a transmitter.
Is all of the dam building learned? Do they have to learn it while they're in captivity, or are they born with that ability?
So dam building, instinctual, learned, I think a little bit of both. We do see the little babies, and everybody, all beavers are wanting to move things around and change their environment. And I see that as the instinct. The instinct is, I need to satisfy this to fit my need. And so they will move things around, they will build things to fit what they themselves find useful. I do not believe that they come out knowing how to build a dam. They have to learn that with trial and error. Even a beaver that's been raised by its parents and grew up doing these types of things, their first dams and their first builds right off the bat are really bad. And it takes them a while to get the hang of it. And so that's just sort of a learning thing that young beavers have to go through.
Has Tulip gotten better at grooming herself?
Has Tulip gotten better at grooming herself? Yes, she is doing a much better job, and she's even working through a lot of the mats that she had. She's actually grooming those out.
Is there anything that could be done to have the beavers registered as not being nuisance animals in Mississippi?
Anything to do? Well, we need to, one of my goals is just to continue teaching people about beavers, and that's what this beaver sanctuary, I'm going to be applying for grants and hopeful to get some money to show that there are ways to live with beavers where they should not be classified as a nuisance. We can live side by side with them. We don't have to always use lethal force. And I think that's the biggest thing in Mississippi. It's just been so long and ingrained in the culture. Literally, when a beaver is seen, it dies. It doesn't even, it's like an automatic response. And that's just something that we need to do better, and we just gotta keep working. And I think I'm hopeful that the sanctuary will really do that job, that we can show our government, we can show our officials that this is possible.
Are we about to get a thunderstorm?
I do think we're about to get a thunderstorm. I'm gonna make my way actually under here just in case. I've got Tulip and Petunia here. But anyway, I'll stand under here so that I don't get rained on if the rain decides to
Do the
come.
beavers have to deal with what looks like Giardia?
Giardia, great question. So yes, evidently beavers can carry Giardia. That's a parasite that is found. Now, that particular parasite is known as beaver fever. Yes, I'm gonna let my kid go inside. I'm gonna stand here under the cover, and we'll keep going on to this until I'm getting like crazy lightning. Anyway, Giardia. The more I read about it and the more I look into it, it does appear that, and I'll read my own comments. Hold on. Where's Luna? How do you name them? Oh, thank you. Oh yeah. So it turns out that maybe beavers aren't the primary host for Giardia. Some have found that muskrats have a larger load than beavers, and beavers may get the blame, but that's something that we need to do, and I have yet to find any Giardia in our animals. So it's an interesting question. All right, I'm on my own here. If you see lightning, it can see you. All right, tiring. And can they get rabies? Yes. They can get rabies, which is unfortunate, but it's rare. And we do vaccinate for rabies with our animals just as a precaution, but it's rare, and you don't hear about a lot of it. Do nutria carry diseases? Yes. So nutria are down here. Nutria are an invasive rodent that's found in the south, and they do carry diseases. And they're of course utilizing many of the same habitats. They can tolerate salt water a little better than beavers. Oh, thank you all for blocking weird people. I mean, you all are wonderful, and of course it's the internet, right? That's what happens. But I appreciate you doing that. How clingy are the beavers? They always want attention. But look, them Tulip and Petunia having each other is really, really nice. They're enjoying each other's company, and they'll come to me if they need something, but right now it's really nice that they get to hang out. Uzbekistan, that's cool. All right, saying hello. Okay, Pharyngis. Sorry, apologies. I have a southern accent deep down, and I'm really bad at pronunciations, but thank you for joining in from Uzbekistan. That's really cool. Yes, all the beavers will be released eventually to the wild. So anyway, I think I am getting rain, and we are seeing lightning, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off at about the 45-minute mark. But I want to say, yeah, southern accents are great. Thank you all so much. I don't even know what to say. I am blessed. I am so thankful for all of you. You've given me hope. You're giving all of us a reason for doing all of this for beavers. And please continue to tune in. We'll do another one of these live feeds when it's not about to storm on me. But I just want to say thanks again so much, everyone. I love to all. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.